Resident Evil. Well, more specifically, it's the 2002 remake of Resident Evil, but more specifically than that, it is the 2014 re-release of the 2002 remake of Resident Evil. I hope you're doing well. Resident Evil, or Biohazard in Japan, is a series that I've had kind of a weird relationship with from the start because I never played the games myself, despite being aware of them and loving playing any game on the PlayStation. But I was on YouTube in the late 2000s, which of course meant I saw all of the videos of the terrible voice acting from the original game and the live-action cutscenes, the glorious live-action cutscenes, so all that good stuff, Jill Sandwich, etc., etc. But I never actually played any of them, so I didn't play Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, or 4. They just totally flew underneath my radar. That is until I had a friend that we would co-op through games with, that I would co-op through games with, and he was a big Resident Evil fan of the whole series, and he loved Resident Evil 4. So when 5 rolled around and announced that it was going to have a big focus on co-op, he said, "You have to get this and play this with me," and I said, "Okay, sure." So my first time playing a Resident Evil game was Resident Evil 5, which obviously we don't have to get into the nitty-gritty, but that was a really big turning point for the series for that game, and we played through it, but I was none the wiser. I loved that game. I still love that game. I think it's one of the best co-op games ever made. And with that same friend, we also bought and played Resident Evil 6, and I think we made it through one campaign of the 3 or 4, however many there were. And that didn't quite pan out. That one did not grab us at all. And that's kind of that's where my Resident Evil fandom stayed. I didn't do anything else with the franchise because obviously it went on a little bit of a hiatus after 4. And then 7 came out, and I played it and I loved it. I thought it was a really neat horror experience, but it didn't really hook me. Not enough. It felt too separate, and it didn't get me excited about the concept of Resident Evil. But then Resident Evil Village came out, and I loved that game. Like, really loved it. I devoured it. I got all the achievements, and it, more importantly, it did what 7 did not, and it got me really excited about the future of the series and the franchise as a whole. So what do? Of course, I decide that I'm going to play through every mainline Resident Evil game. And I started with Resident Evil 1, this remake. It was a game that I've always wanted to play, and I've started it, both the remake and the PlayStation 1 version, a ton of different times and never got very far, but I committed to it, and I decided that I wanted to play it, and it was a ton of fun. Very old, obviously. It's unlike the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes, which came out almost 20 years after those games. The Resident Evil 1 remake was made 6 years after the original game, so there's a lot of tough, very old school kind of things about this game that I enjoy, but this is a very long introduction, but I thought it was kind of interesting because this series is so interesting to me as a whole. So, but anyway, I'm going to be talking about it a lot as we get started. So we're on the main menu here, and I would like to say that I have finished the game a total of 3 times. Once as Jill, that was my first playthrough, and then twice as Chris, which is just kind of an extra sort of let's do all the achievements or try to go for some achievements. And we're actually going to be loading my most recent cleared data, which is my second Chris playthrough, because as you play through the game, you unlock costumes for the characters, and in order to get all of them, you need to beat the game twice as Jill and twice as Chris, and we are going to be doing a Jill playthrough for this. So we're going to be doing once again here, which is sort of like New Game Plus, but not really. I don't carry over my items from before or anything, but I do get a reward because I finished the game in under 5 hours. I have an infinite ammo pistol, but that's the only thing I'm getting, and I will not be using it, so it'll be in our inventory when we start, but I'm gonna, as soon as we get to an item box, I'm gonna put it away and never touch it again. So it'll essentially be a normal playthrough, but I want that costume to unlock. So thank you for listening to me talk about Resident Evil and my experience with it for 5 minutes. We're going to have a pretty lengthy intro cutscene here, so I will see you on the other side of this very fun and very intriguing game. Resident Evil. Oh, right, we have to pick a character. So we can pick as Chris and Jill. I obviously already said we're going to be playing as Jill, but I think the differences between the two characters are pretty interesting. Chris has more HP, and I think he might deal more damage as well. But as a trade-off, he doesn't get access to the lockpick item, which makes opening up a few specific doors a lot more annoying than they are on Jill. And he also only has 6 inventory slots instead of Jill's 8, so you have to do a lot more backtracking to item boxes and save rooms. But yeah, Jill is overall an easier playthrough, and that's why I'm going to be picking it, and I need the costume too. I did want to point out, though, this is Chris's Resident Evil 1 outfit right here, which looks obviously very different from how he looks in Resident Evil 5 when he becomes as they call him in Resident Evil Village, a boulder-punching asshole. But you can actually play as his Resident Evil 5 model, or a model more reminiscent of his Resident Evil 5 model in this game. But I personally like to stick... Oh, that's a terrible costume. I personally like to stick with this one, or I think this is his Resident Evil Code Veronica outfit. That's a great one too. But this is just terrible early 2000s quote-unquote coolness, and I hate looking at it, but it doesn't matter. This is Jill. This is her second costume, which is also pretty, not a fan of it personally, and then this, which is more reminiscent of her in later games, but we're just going to be sticking with the original look for this playthrough.
Alpha Team is flying around the forest zone, situated in northwest Raccoon City, where we are searching for the helicopter of our compatriots, Bravo Team, who disappeared during the middle of their mission.
Haven't found it yet?
No, not yet, Bizarre murder cases have recently occurred in Raccoon City. There are outlandish reports of families being attacked by a group of about 10 people. Victims were apparently eaten. The Bravo Team was sent in to investigate, but we lost contact.
Look, Chris.
Bravo Team's helicopter was a derelict. Save for the remaining body of Kevin. We continued our search for the other members, and it turned into a nightmare.
survival horror.
There are only 3 STARS members left now. Captain Wesker, Barry, and myself. We don't know where Chris is.
What is this place?
Not quite your ordinary house, that's for sure.
Hey, Wesker, where's Chris?
Jill, no! You don't want to go back out there.
But we've got to find...
What was that?
Chris?
No.
Jill, go and investigate.
I'm going with her. Chris and I go back a long way.
All right. You two go. I'll secure this area.
Stay sharp. A dining room.
And here we are in the dining room with control over Jill, who automatically has the infinite ammo pistol equipped. So we're going to go ahead and immediately unequip that and just have nothing equipped for now. But I love how the game immediately starts you off with the classic door opening loading screens from the original. And really the first thing you notice about this game is its use of pre-rendered backgrounds, which look really great even today because of their use of CG. There are a few moments in the game where they do look a little rough, especially at 1080p in the HD release, but they still look really great in most areas of the game. And this is the ink ribbon. We have 3 of them, which means we're currently limited to 3 saves. Every time you want to save in this game, you need to consume an ink ribbon at a typewriter here. We're not going to do that just yet. And I kind of wanted to get the game going here because I rambled at the beginning a lot more than I wanted to, but I did want to clarify that I have finished the game 3 times, but I still have trouble committing everything that you need to do at each point of the game to memory. So this playthrough will probably have a lot of moments where I'll get an item, I'll be like, right, what do I have to do with that again, or where do I have to go now? There's going to be a lot of moments like that, so it's going to be a very slow, kind of methodical, making our way through the game here. So this is the dining hall. We'll be here a lot, and we can examine a few things around, I think. The only movement is the silent flicker of the candle's flame on the desk, and I love the descriptive text for flavor in this game. A large filth-encrusted jar.
I think you'd better take a look at this.
What is it?
Blood. Jill, see if you can find any other clues. I'll be examining this. Let's just hope it's not Chris's.
And I think we can talk to Barry one more time for another short cutscene.
Barry.
Oh, that's it. Jill just says Barry, and then Barry wipes the rest of the blood off his fingers. Barry is examining the blood stains, and there's an emblem here that stands out. And we can pick it up, but we're going to go ahead and leave that there for now. Alright, so I guess let's go towards the only other door we can examine. Oh, actually, no, there's a little bit more to look at. Yeah, here. When the two have run each other through, the path to your destiny will open. So, clearly referencing this painting here, which is a picture of 2 knights striking each other. The short sword has been thrust into the breast of one knight, while the long sword has pierced the head of the other, which is a very, very metal painting. Is there anything more to examine? I don't believe so. So now we'll go ahead and step through this door. It's very interesting how, I think there's something to be said for them retaining, I don't know how intentional it is, but There's some bad voice acting in this game. It's not nearly as bad as the original, but it's pretty bad and very campy and cheesy, but it's kind of part of the charm of the game, at least in my opinion. And there's the classic cutscene in the first zombie we'll be seeing. We do have our pistol, but we actually don't have to do anything at all to get rid of this.
Barry!
What is it?
Look out! It's a monster!
Let me take care of it. What the hell is this thing?
I found Kenneth killed by this thing. Let's report this to Wesker.
And we know where Wesker is, of course. He's back in the main hall. Let's head right on back there. Do we have access to the, No, I don't think we have access to the map yet. And the zombie very quickly just climbed up off of the floor and ran through the door again.
Wesker! Jill, help me look for him. But let's not leave this hall.
Good idea.
We have to look around this hall. There's actually a quick way to do this, where you can either just climb up these stairs and then down them, or wrap around these lower stairs here. So we're just gonna climb up the stairs. We're not gonna do the shortcut though, because I do want to take a look around and appreciate all these great camera angles here. And oil painting in a large frame. The paint is dried and cracked. The same thing here, but we can't appreciate the different types of the painting. It's been well preserved, and the people in it are still vividly depicted. So yeah, lots of doors in this game, and if we were to interact with them, it would just say that we have to stay inside the hall with Barry. Including one right here. We have better finish searching the hall first.
Barry.
Any luck, Jill?
No, nothing. What's going on around here? I can't figure it out.
Same here.
Chris, and now Wesker.
There's not much we can do. We can search for him separately. I'll investigate the dining room again.
Okay, then. I'll try the door on the other side.
This mansion is gigantic. We could easily get lost. Let's start from the first floor.
Okay.
Oh, I almost forgot. It's a lockpick. You'd make better use of it.
Thanks. I may need it.
Listen, if something happens, let's meet up in this hall. Got it?
Okay.
So Barry went that way, which heavily implies we should go this way, so I think we will. But I did want to take this underpath right here and examine these doors. Wonder what's on the other side of this door. Nothing good, I can tell you that. There are octagonal indentations to the right and left of the door. So nothing we can do with that there, but there was a very scary moaning noise with some rattling chains for us to hear. A heavy looking pitcher. Can we interact with this over here? cannot. We can interact with there's a Chinese urn. We can interact with the door, and what would happen was there would be a cutscene of Jill opening it up, and then a dog would suddenly burst through, and then we would have a dog in the foyer here for the rest of the game. So I'm not gonna do that, but I did feel like it should at least be mentioned. So let's head this way. Immediately there's a very shiny object in the jar here. Let's take a look at our environment first. Portraits and photographs decorate the wall. It looks like they could come to life at any moment. Let's see if that's on the same wall. A portrait hangs on the wall. It almost seems like it's watching you. So obviously that's too tall for us, but can we examine it? Woman drawing water. So all we really have to do is climb on up and over this. And then, oop, nope. Yeah, the camera angles can mess you up with the movement sometimes. The switching camera angles was obviously a big benefit of the tank controls. Or to the benefit of the tank controls, because you always moved in the same direction no matter what, but this game has an updated control scheme. And you can use tank controls if you want to. And actually don't even have to. You can switch it in the options, but you actually don't have to do that because you can use the D-pad to sort of rotate and move, but this is the default control scheme, the free moving one, so I prefer to use that. Also, some of the encounters really feel like it was designed with that in mind as far as difficulty goes, so, at least in my opinion. There's a map of the mansion first floor. Take it? I think so. And here we go. We can see everything on the first floor, all the rooms, all of the open doors, all of the locked doors, which are red. And when a room is that sort of, it kind of looks green, but to me it looks more like, I think it's supposed to be green, but to me it looks more like an off-white or a very light beige kind of color. That means we have cleared everything or obtained everything there is to obtain in that room. And red means the opposite, so clearly we have more to do in that hallway and in the dining room. You got the map of the mansion first floor. So at the end of this hallway here is let's examine stuff. The closet door is locked. Oh right, that's where you change costumes in your playthrough. There's an item to be picked up at the end of this hallway, but it's just a defensive item, and if you go all the way to the end and pick it up and come back, you're forced into a zombie encounter that I don't really want to deal with, so. An old photograph sits in a frame. Maybe this person was connected to the mansion somehow. And this door is locked. An emblem of a sword is carved into the lock, so I guess we'll have to remember that. Nothing else for us to get here, unfortunately, so I guess we'll head back the way that Barry went. Because I don't think there's much for us in any of the other doors here. This is locked, and, excuse me. I had to clear my throat a moment, so this door is also locked, but an emblem of a helmet is carved into the lock. So away we go. And I think just to be on the safe side, this would probably be an alright time to save. And we'll go ahead and save over this slot right there, because that was just a playthrough I started, but it didn't get very far in. I'll head back to the hallway where that classic staring zombie was. As much as I do like the CG cutscene that recreates the zombies staring at you. Oh, hello. I do think it's a little creepier in the PlayStation 1 version. So this door is locked from the other side, and this game, I prefer to try to dodge zombies if I can. Oh, this guy's getting real close, though. I wanted to go that way, but we'll go this way instead. Rather than killing the zombies, because if you kill the zombies, there's a chance, or it might also be guaranteed, that they come back as a much more powerful zombie called a Crimson Head. So I prefer to just avoid zombies if I can. Here's our first handgun magazine, which is good because we will be needing it. There's a corpse collapsed on the floor like it was an instant death. What the hell happened in this mansion? It's a very good question. There's also manacles of some kind hanging from the wall. And I really love the effect of the shadow on the wall of the chandelier. And okay, yeah, our inventory is looking okay. There's also 2 green herbs here, which I'm actually, just to conserve space a little bit here before we get to an item box, I'm going to go ahead and combine these. So now we have mixed herbs. Actually, is there something else here? No. Okay. We're good to go up the stairs then. That's a great camera angle, a little bit of a Dutch tilt there. Now this hallway has more than a few zombies in it, so I'm hoping we might be able to avoid a nasty encounter. Another green herb for us to take. We could combine that. And in the mirror right here, we can see the other zombie, which is a nice touch. And this door is completely locked. Yeah, locked from the other side. So I think if I'm fast enough, because he's not moving, I should be able to just avoid him. Yeah. And pick up this very shiny object, which is a golden arrow. And we get a tutorial that says examine an item. From the status screen, select an item and then select the examine command. The details of the item will be displayed. And that's all we need to know. I'm going to try to dodge. Okay, that's what I want. When the enemy reaches for you but misses you, and then you can just very easily go around them. And this door is locked from the other side, so we will instead unlock this door and see where it takes us. And would you look at that? We are above the dining room, and there's the fireplace below with the emblem. This door is locked. An emblem of a sword is carved into the lock. We're going to go ahead and heed that tutorial's advice and examine the golden arrow. I don't think it really matters where we examine it. Yeah, it just says the arrowhead looks like it can be removed, so we'll do that. And now we just have the arrowhead item, which is an arrowhead made from peridot, sometimes referred to as a poor man's emerald. So that's going to be hanging around in our inventory for a little bit. And this is our first dagger, which thankfully does not take up an inventory slot. This allows us to use, this is a defensive item, which allows us to use the emergency evade. Using defensive items such as daggers will allow you to escape momentarily when grabbed by an enemy. However, you will not be able to escape when the enemy grabs you from behind. To equip a defensive item, go to the status screen and then select an item from the defensive item menu, then select the equip command. In your defensive item mode, if your defensive item mode is set to manual in the controller settings, you must press LB to use the defensive item. And I believe I do have that set, and I think it will definitely carry it over, but yeah, defensive item is manual, because sometimes I'm willing to just take the hit. No, I thought there was a zombie on this floor. But I guess my memory must be playing tricks on me. So we can push this statue, and I'm just going to do that right now, even though this gem that we get from it is going to go not picked up for quite some time. And these double doors lead us right back into the main hall. And we're going to go through this door first thing in the next video. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.